We all want to be remarkable.
Your business demands it. Our communities crave it.
You know you're on the right trajectory when opportunities launch you into unexpected directions you never thought possible. Join me, Kate Volman,
and fellow marketing strategist Kyle Sexton every week as we explore ideas you're not considering.
Share stories from others like you who despise mediocrity and discover how whatever you're building has the power to
change your business,
change your community,
change your trajectory. Did you know that in the intro there, Kate, you said we all want to be remarkable?
We do.
Well, not everybody wants to be remarkable. What do you think about that?
That not everybody wants to be remarkable?
Well, how does it make you feel to know that not everybody wants to be remarkable? Some people want to be mediocre. Some people want to just blend in. Some people want to not be noticed. How does that make you feel?
Do they? I don't think that they would say they want to be mediocre.
Are you questioning? Are you questioning the questioner?
Questioning the questioner? I don't think they think about it. I think a lot of people don't think about. I think a lot of people don't think
about. But I think you're avoiding the question. The question was, how does it make you feel, Kate Bowman? When I tell you that not everybody wants to be remarkable.
It makes me sad because I feel like everyone remarkable in whatever it is for them in their life. We should all strive to be remarkable in, even if you don't want to be noticed, you're remarkable in your world, in your community, in your relationships, one-on-one relationships. How does somebody not want to be the best version of themselves? Be remarkable. How would somebody not want that?
Because change hurts. You know, we talk about it a lot. When you get trajected, it's like, oh, I think I just felt the paradigm shift. Not good. But the change hurts, though. Believe me, I've been expanding in the last 60 days. It hurts. It hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts to turn a wish that used to be a dream. It started out as a dream because you didn't really do it consciously. And then you did it consciously and turned it into a wish. And then you wrote it down and it became a goal. And then you put it on the calendar and it became a thing. And people who put that thing when they have it written down, I think those are our people.
Yes.
The people who have the cojones, the huevos, and the guts to write down their wish and make it a goal, and then to put it on their calendar and make it a thing. That's what trajectory is all about. That's why.
Yes.
That's why we're here. We're not. You and I are not in a place where we are preaching down to the people who someday aspire to be where we are. We and I are on we are on the trajectory.
Yes.
And that's what I love about this particular project. We get to take people by the hand, say, let's link up. Let's go somewhere. But the calendar keeps popping up. And the reason I asked you about television is that one of the big brands wants you to put them on their calendar.
One of?
All right. More than one. More than one big brand want to put you on the calendar. And I was reminded by that because I watch TV for the ads, you see. That's how nerdy I am. I watch TV for the ads. All right. Here's the rundown. Toyota wants you to think about them every January, so much so that they named their spokesperson in all of their ads. You know, that lovely brunette. Speaking of lovely brunettes. They named her Jan because they want to make a trigger. They want to make a trigger in your head that if you are thinking about buying a car in January, Toyota pops up. I'm working on my snaps for 2018. I'm working on them.
That was
a lame snap.
That was kind of lame,
by
but
the end of trajectory, I'll be left.
a snapping machine.
So who else wants you to do that? Geico also wants you to put them on your calendar with greater frequency. Any guesses as to what day Geico would like you to think of them? Mike.
Hump day.
Hump day. It's hump day. Say it, Mike. Mike. They take the most common name in the United States, the most common male name in the United States, give it to a camel on hump day to talk about hump day. And yeah, they've been doing that. That's not a new campaign though, right? It's a 3-year-old campaign, but they're still running versions of it. And there are memes about it that are circulating beyond the initial campaign. I just think it's really interesting. There are these triggers that brands get to use all their mass media advertising to create, but they've already figured out that they have a quality product. I don't really want to be frequent in my client's life. I want to be valuable. I want to be easy to work with. So that's why I want to talk about calendars today, Kate, because the calendar is one of the ways that I like to be easy to work with. I think you know how easy it is to get on my calendar.
It is quite easy to get on your calendar. Yes.
If you know what you're doing. Is it easy to get on your calendar? Really know.
Well, you will be happy to know that I actually stole your little borrowed. I'll say borrowed, not stole. I loved your process so much. So over the weekend, I actually did create my little version of what you have. And I have my little forms that people can fill out. So now on my signature, my email signature, it's going to have a little virtual coffee. I want to actually say like, meet me for a virtual coffee. And that's where you can do a little consultation with me or talk to me or whatever. So it's set up a little differently, but I loved your process so much. So yeah, I'm going to make it super easy to meet with me too and not go back with the whole email back and forth of when do you want to get together? What time? How about this? Nope, can't make it. Done with all that.
So why don't you have your staff do that for you, Kate?
Well, I don't have a staff.
So you're one of the millions of business owners who are trying to keep it small and keep it all.
Keep it.
I'm the same way, but I also wanted to create a trigger, just like Geico, and just like and just like Toyota, through my email communication to remind people that I do my best work not by email. I do my best work like this, face to face. When you show up on my calendar, I can give you my 110% attention, which implies that I have more than 100% and that I'm bad at math. Sometimes the jokes are just for me though, Kate. You know what I'm saying though? I don't do well with email. I don't. And you have been one of those friends who's noticed and called me out on the fact that, Kyle, you're actually not very good at texts either. Yeah, I find so many reasons to delay a return, a text that has information in it. My brain doesn't do information well in the written form. I have to speak it. So I get writer's block all the time, but Kate, I never get speaker's block. So it's time to chat. So I can really be helpful to people in a shorter amount of time if I can just get on my calendar. So every email that my clients get from me has all the best, Kyle, and right below it, click here to get on my calendar. It's just one of those triggers that I created so that by the end of a project, my clients, when they're asked by other people what it's like to work with Kyle, they say, oh my gosh, he's so easy to work with and he's so valuable. So I didn't have to waste their time sending a lot of information back and forth by email, which might be their preferred method, but they can't get value out of me if that's the only method that we have to work with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that completely makes sense. And as you're talking, it reminds me of when people, I don't know where I got this from, but when they say you're training people how to treat you, how to work
I
with
got
you.
that from my therapist, actually. I mean, my friend's therapist. It was not my therapist.
What?
It was not my therapist who said that. It was my friend's therapist. Yeah, you teach people how to treat you.
Friend's therapist a lot.
Yeah. You teach people that was a real eye opener. It was a real eye opener. You teach people how to treat you. And I initially was using that to go, how do I change all the people who treat me poorly? You get them out of your life, for one. And even if they're related to you, I've seen people who have to do that. It works. When they come back into your life, they treat you differently. And but from a business standpoint, you are very much in control of how people treat you.
And you're also in control of how they can reach out to you. Like, how do you work with your people? So I was finding, for me, and I see this among a lot of solopreneurs and consultants and any kind of service industry, where like for me over the past year, I've said this before, I was getting reached out to by a lot of people saying, hey, I want you to manage my social media. Why? Because I really did have a lot of content that talked about social media and how to use Facebook. And obviously, then I would be like, why do they keep wanting me to run their social? I don't do that. So we train people. And I was getting that same question from some of my other friends who are consultants. And I'm like, right. And look at your content. Like every time something happens, I always look, okay, before I say, what are they doing? No, look in the mirror. What am I doing? What am I saying? What am I doing? And how am I attracting these questions? How am I attracting these people? And when we do that versus, oh my gosh, this is so frustrating. Don't people know? No, like, and it's not their fault.
So, yeah, what's funny is in telling people about trajectory and telling people about you, my number one thing that comes out, oh my God, Kate she's got such a great bubbly personality. She's such a natural on the mic and on camera. She brings such great energy. She brings my energy level up, and she's so good at prep. And oh my God, you know what she did? She just wrote like 18 tweets about one episode. She is so good at social media. There it is. Sorry. People want to.
Sorry, not sorry.
To give you money for your special talent that you tell people you don't want to do. And why is it, Kate, that you don't want it? That you don't want that to be your secret sauce, your thing?
Well, that's not my secret sauce. I mean, well, managing your social media, managing your page, and me being behind the computer is not.
Well, I didn't say you manage our social media well. I said you write amazing posts and you extract content. You're a content creator,
right?
So sometimes, the tech industry, the tech industry really gets a bad rap because of the engineering communication style, I'll call it, where they're very literal. They answer the question that was asked, and their natural instinct is not to dig deeper to help you find the question that you meant to ask. And as a marketer, I like to be a problem solver. And so I like to really try to understand the question that people are asking, because I have been on both ends of that same conversation. I've seen how frustrating it is. And I know that in creating a positive user experience, we really got to put ourselves in a position to help our customers ask the questions we want them to ask.
Mm-hmm.
We got to help them to do it. And so social media is only, in popular culture, only about 10 years old. Really? So I think we're still in a stage where we need to teach them what to ask about us. Here are the most common questions that people ask me. And if you identify, for example, Kate, that people are always asking you to manage their social media, I don't think they're actually asking you to manage their social media. I think they're asking for help with their social media, and they're asking for your expert eye on what they need to do with their messaging. But maybe you are the IT department in this one, Kate, and you're taking it as a literal question. Will you manage my social media, Kate?
That is true. Well, but what has happened from all of those conversations has allowed me to shift my communication to more content, because content is really the question that they're asking. They don't know whether they're talking about videos or what to post or what to most businesses are like, I don't even know where to start. I don't know what I should be sharing, because I can teach you all the tactical ways to create a post or run a Facebook ad, but if you don't have good content, it's going to do nothing.
Yeah. So I have had the same issue in my business, and it's kind of funny that even as little as 4 months ago, I totally mishandled and misread the situation. Somebody asked me a question, and instead of me treating it like, wait for it, Kate, a trigger, instead of me treating it like a trigger for putting them in the funnel that helps me to solve their problem, I answered it literally. They said, Kyle, do you do board facilitations? I said, no, I do not. Because I hate the term board facilitation. A lot of majority of my clients, nonprofit organizations, and they all have this annual board retreat. Kyle, do you do strategic planning? No. But if I listen to my clients and they describe what Kyle does, they say, Kyle put a strategy to our entire organization, which boards call strategic planning. So while I run from the process that they've all created, that they all want to invite me into, I have my own process for what they would call strategic planning. I call it a board membership workshop, where I'm going to help them create a strategy. That's what I do. And I mistakenly said to a future client that's probably no longer a future client, I mistakenly said, no, I don't. And I probably did it with an energy that was like, oh, well, who can you recommend that does? And I said, this person, or this person. I really did recommend alternatives to me when they are probably a bread and butter client for me. But they got me on the, that it was that moment.
Wow.
How do you do this? No, no. The answer is not no. The answer is, tell me what you're trying to accomplish.
Right.
It's a trigger, just like Jan, just like hump day. It's a trigger. It's a trigger to get them through your process, to help them find out the question that they're really asking.
So how long did it take you to create that process that you put people through? Tell us the process of that person emails you, and instead of saying no, you say,
I say sometimes when people ask that question, what they mean is this. Would you mind telling me what you mean? Tell me more. So they often ask, a lot of potential clients and customers ask yes or no questions because in their mind, they've already had the conversation with you. They think they know what you're going to say. And when it gets to the point of asking you the question, they're now just trying to prove themselves right or wrong. I knew he'd say that, or I knew I knew she'd say that. So, it took me a long time to turn their questions into intelligent questions on my part, but I had to borrow some from a trainer named Paula Creekmore, and she totally transformed my thinking at a time in my life where I was transforming everything. And hey, it was right around New Year's, wouldn't you know? And her response that didn't work for me, but got me a lot closer, was, tell me more about why you're asking. And that's one that actually works for a whole lot of people. So when I ask you a question, the answer is no, but it's a common question that people might ask of people like you. So if I say, Kate, can I hire you to manage my social media? Kate's normal response is, one more person asking me to manage your social media. When the actual response can be, tell me more about why you're asking.
Right. And I actually do that, but in my mind,
but I know, but in your mind you don't.
But in my mind, well, no, I do that, but in my mind, I'm thinking, who can I send them to? I'm not thinking, oh, I might be able to. I actually might be a good solution for this person. I automatically think, I want to get this person to the right resource. It's not me, but I might know of someone. So
one of the solopreneurs I work with, Kate, is a writing coach, and she often works with college-bound students. And there's another profession who also works with students, and they're called tutors. And so when people call her and they say, we're looking to hire a tutor, she does the same thing. Ooh, well, I work differently than a tutor. But she's figured out a way to engage them in a conversation. First of all, by turning the phone call or the email into a face-to-face conversation, which sounds like it could take a lot of time, but it doesn't have to be in person, right, Kate? It could be just like this.
mm-hmm.
We use Zoom.us. Zoom is a great way for businesses to cut out the travel time to have meaningful conversations. And it's actually instrumental in my own business for how I've been able to increase my productivity while keeping my prices down. So working less, traveling less, having a meaningful impact, using technology. So those are all, I think, very reasonable ways to rethink how you can provide value and how you can turn those inquiries into something that is that allows you to dive deeper into why they're asking in the first place. Because when they had a need, it triggered you in their mind.
Right.
You created that trigger.
Absolutely. I know I did.
So that's not a bad thing.
Right.
It's not.
Well, that's why
I think it's kind of amusing that you're trying to not roll your eyes. You're like,
no,
this is a really good thing.
I think no, that's why I'm saying I find it really fascinating because of the fact that over the past year, I have totally been looking at what is it that I'm doing? Like honestly, I've done this a lot, even in relationships. I'm like, wait a second, there's a common denominator here and it's me. So really taking more of an internal look at what I'm putting out there. And so and it's the language too, right? Like your industry has certain language, my industry has certain language. And so it's so ingrained in us, but the average business owner that I'm talking to, they don't really understand what SEO is or means. They don't really get social media. So when they throw out these terms, to me, it's defined as one thing. To them, I know it's completely different. And so recognizing that the language that we're all speaking is so different, and it's hard to do that because we're so in it every day.
You and I have talked on previous episodes about delivering value before the transaction. And that can be a hard thing for people to imagine, if they're a solopreneur like you or me or a freelancer. They're like, well, what if I charge by the hour? How do I deliver value in advance? How do I give away something for free to demonstrate my value? That doesn't really make sense to me. But one of the things that we all can do to deliver value before the transaction is to inform our audience and our future customers about the lingo, about the jargon, about the way that we work, And so that it is in and of itself a sampling of working with us. And it demonstrates your teaching nature. It gives them a sense of your style. It gives them a sense of, through stories that you tell, do I fit in? Can they help me? Are they telling stories about people like me? Am I an ideal or bread and butter client, or am I going to be an odd fit? Am I going to be a customer that they wish they'd fired? So, and that's why we create content. And people who listen to Trajectory get a pretty good sense of my ridiculous sense of humor, and they get a really good sense for your amazing positive energy and your know-how. And it's a bit of a sampling, but Trajectory is not here to be a commercial. It's here to be a gift. And it's a magnet, right? And we talk about it all the time. The magnet both attracts and repels. We want to attract people who are on the same trajectory, and we want to invite them into to go to trajectory.live, click on that button that says Trajection Seat, fill that out, and share it with us. We've got quite a few people waiting for us in the Trajection Seat area, Kate. We're gonna start chipping away at some of those. We want to talk about real people who are on the trajectory and some things that they can do to improve their situation. But in the meantime, Kate, it's a new year. It's 2018. Welcome to. I haven't seen you since last year.
Miss you.
And the opportunity, though, for people to manage their calendar differently and to interact with their customers and future customers differently is something that I think is huge. All the things that we want to accomplish when you write down your goals, and I treat every Monday like other people treat New Year's. And I think that's been one of the every single Monday is a chance to start over.
Yes.
And
yes.
And that's why I think maybe if I get more done than the average freelancer, solopreneur, consultant, somebody who does what I do, if I get more done than they do, or if I create more value in less time than they do, that's why. It's because I bring that let's start over every Monday.
Yes.
And I have my former boss and mentor to thank for that mindset, because we can get a lot done in a week. And if you don't believe me, just try sprinting for a week instead of running the marathon that you've been running for years. Just sprint for a week. What can you do in a week? I wrote a book in 9 days. That was a sprint.
Oh wow, yeah.
I launched a product in a week. I sold something I've never sold before and created a 5-digit. I create 5 digits of revenue in my business in a week.
What'd you create?
Oh, I'm not going to tell you. Then you're going to steal it. No, but it came from somebody asking me, Kyle, will you do a free talk? And I said, what did I say, Kate?
You said, tell me more about that. What are you looking? What are you looking to accomplish?
I said yes, and I should have said no. And that's back when I was doing free talks. I said yes. This is years ago, and I was still doing free talks. But I said, you know what? So many people have asked me for the same topic. I'm a marketer. This should have been a trigger for me. Should have triggered. That was a better right-handed snap. This should be a trigger for demand, customer demand. They're trying to tell me what they want. And I wasn't listening. So somebody asked me for it. They said, Kyle, will you do this talk for us? And I said yes to it. And then I went, I'm doing a free talk. No more. I swore to myself I wouldn't do any more of those. So what did I do? I built a product around that talk. So before that talk, I calendared that talk. And before I even delivered that talk, I had created a product around it, and I sent it out to my audience, and it was a $300 training program. And in 3 emails, 40 of my audience who had never bought anything from me before bought it. So listen to your audience. Let these inquiries be a trigger for your marketing mind to say, what are people asking for?
I like it. I'm doing that. I'm actually doing that this year.
I know you are. We've talked about
this year.
Yeah.
I know. I'm excited. I'm speaking at a couple of different events in the first quarter, and I'm excited to create.
What are your topics? What are you going to be talking about?
Social media. I'm just kidding.
I bet it's going to come up. Yeah, I bet it's going to come up.
Oh no, it's totally going to come up. Well, I'm trying to, right now. I'm still working on my title for the one, because essentially it is about social media. However, it's about the content that you're creating, and how are you creating content that builds the community, that builds your online, helps you build your brand online. So of course you're going to use social media in which to do that, but it's content. It's through the content and being valuable and creating something worth consuming versus checkbox. I just
the novelty of social media is wearing off, and people are actually settling down to go, all right, what are we going to put in this? If social media is a blank canvas in which people consume and share content, what am I going to put out there that's actually shareable? And that's where the word remarkable comes in. You and I started talking about, we all want to be remarkable. Not everybody wants to be remarkable, but business owners want to be remarkable in their business. And Seth Godin talks about the idea that we ought to pursue being remarkable so that people will remark about us. And in a business context, that means growing your business. And when and the first step, and I also do talks on this very topic that have social media included in it, but we don't talk about it directly. We just talk about how things are consumed and shared. But the first step is looking at everything that you're doing and identify those things that are no longer remarkable. And look at your calendar, Kate. Got to look at our calendar. We go, what's on this calendar that was remarkable when I started it, that's no longer remarkable?
Yeah. Get rid of it.
And maybe you started something in the past and it was awesome and it was remarkable, and now it doesn't need you anymore to be remarkable. Awesome. What are you going to build next? What are you going to do next with that same remarkability? And if people don't miss you in what you created, then it wasn't that remarkable, right? They're gonna. Your legacy is okay. If you started, everybody's got those sacred cows on their calendar, and me, I love a good old Texas barbecue. So we got to find. But we all have to find some space on our calendar. What are you gonna give up? What are people willing to give up in order to expand and grow? Because it hurts. It hurts to say no to some things. I have a page on my website called Now, and it's always there. It's always at kylesexton.com/now. And every time I update it, I share that webpage on social networks. And the Now Network, by the way, was started by Derek Sivers, who has created several remarkable TED Talks. The author of Anything You Want, the founder of CD Baby, and a brilliant thinker and entrepreneur. And he lives a really intriguing lifestyle, and he now lives in New Zealand. And he's lived all over the world.
I know he was kind of like Done. Peace. I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna be off the.
And now he's back, and he's back to writing.
Yeah.
He's not back to writing daily or responding to the masses of people who email him and really are attracted by. But so anyway, Derek Sivers started the Now movement, and the Now movement it's literally just it's a database and a Twitter profile, and he created an engine that automatically tweets people who have a Now page from his directory of Now pages, and he just made a call out to people. He said, "Hey, I'm going to link arms with people who are actually working on something. And if you're working on something, show the world by creating a Now page." So I created a Now page, and I like it. And every 4 to 10 weeks, when what I'm working on now changes, I go in there and I update it. And it's cool to actually it's different than a blog. The old blog posts still live in a blog, but here's a page that changes over time like you do. And it's kind of a trigger in your own mind to show you how you're growing, show you how you've changed from what was on your calendar. And I, for me, I look at that and I go, you know what, that thing there didn't work out like I wanted it to. And that's okay. I'm moving on. But this other thing here is awesome. And it's grown. And oh yeah, here's where I was when I wrote this 6 weeks ago or 8 weeks ago. And but it's a trigger to the public, and it's also a magnet. People who are really interested will click on that link, and they'll know that they can always go back there to see what you're working on now. And so anyway, I want to encourage people to get on to Derek Sivers' Now movement. And if you want an example of one, go to Derek Sivers, Sivers, DEREK, or no, it's at Sivers.org. Sivers.org/now, or just Google Derek Sivers Now. And or you can check out mine, kylesexton.com/now. Kate, do you have a Now page?
I don't have a Now page, and I feel like I'm totally missing the boat, and I'm going to
think about it,
because I actually did see when he did that, and I think, gosh, it was one of those times where I was finding all of these really cool websites and different creatives. And at some point I was like, oh my gosh, there's all these incredible movements and things to belong to and be involved with. And I didn't sign up, but I love the concept of Now.
You're downloading a lot. It's hard to create when you're downloading a lot, right?
Yeah.
We've talked about that before. To create or to consume, you kind of have to be in one mode or the other. I find the best creators are limiting their consumption.
Yes. And it's hard. It's, I think that's the one thing with the Now, with what you're working on now, that I find challenging is so many of us want to do so many different things. We have these different ideas. We want to pursue different things. And it's, which one do you choose? Especially when I get asked a lot from people who see that I do a lot of different things. They say, well, how do you know if it's going to work? And I just say, I'm not like, I don't know if it's going to work. So I feel like there's this idea of how do you pick the thing to work on now versus saying yes to everything and just trying to figure it all out. So that's where I find a lot of people have challenges. And I sometimes do too, because I like being involved in a lot of different projects and collaborating with different organizations and people. And sometimes I think, oh, collaborations means I can do more, when really, if I want it to be great, you have to focus and put time and attention and love towards it if you want to build something incredible.
So
how do you decide?
Well, I think one of the things that the Now movement has done for me is that it will get you to turn that wish into a goal. It gives you one more opportunity to write down, to turn it into something written down and public. And while I always say keep the goals away from your trolls, keep your goals away from the trolls, it's it's not so public. It's not so in people's face that you're pushing it down anybody's throat. This is a way for your fans to keep in touch. And we have a responsibility as businesses. If we're not keeping our fans informed, it's a real mistake. But to over-inform the wrong people is also a mistake.
Yeah.
So we've got to listen. We've got to listen to our audience and figure out. And some, like the organizations that I work with, have a real challenge because they've got certain members or clients that have a high need to be informed, and others have a high need to never ever hear from you, which is weird. Which is a weird kind of a thing. But we just have to listen and respond and build that system. And keep working towards it. So how do I know if how do I know if it's a good idea? Maybe I don't. But I don't have to go 100% follow through with the implementation of the idea to explore it. So on my Now page, for example, I'm talking about some of the things that I'm considering doing. And I get people who direct message me through Twitter and Facebook responding to what I put on my Now page privately.
That's awesome.
Because the Now page doesn't have comments on it like a blog does. And so it's kind of, I'm putting it out there. I've put the bat signal out there, and people who are following can raise their hand and say, this is me. I'd like to do this. And it actually happened this last week, Kate. I put out an update of my Now page, and I had people that I'm good friends with and people that I'm only vaguely associated with reach out and say, you're talking about me. And it's now I'm not experimenting on my own. Now it's not a risk. I know I have people who want it.
Yeah. I like that. And also it's now you have people that want it, but you also have people who can root for you, that can be there to kind of, if you want to bounce ideas off of. Like, that's the thing. I find like I crave being around people that are doing interesting things. I crave being around people who are putting themselves out there, who are trying different things. You know, I feel like some people, they're like, oh, did you see what so-and-so is doing? That's never going to work. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what? Done with you. Like this, that, like, give that person credit. Like, it takes a lot to post a video or to share an article or say something that you really feel like needs to be said in a genuine way. And for someone else to criticize that, someone that, by the way, isn't doing anything that they want to do and is complaining about their life and for a number of reasons. And so those are the people that this show is for. And those are the people that I want to connect with. And so when people like Derek set up pages like that, it's just a way for us to connect and find those people who may not be right next door, but they're all over the world. And for us to be able to connect with them, oh my gosh, that is the best. That is
one of the things that you'll see, Kate, if you go check out Derek's Now page, is that he also links to the Now movement, which is a page he hosts, and it's a huge list of everybody who raised their hand and sent him a message and said, here's my name, and here's my Now page. And it's cool. So I hope that people are thinking about what they're doing now, and as they're listening to this podcast or watching on YouTube, they're also doing something else probably, right? So that's cool. Our call to launch today is I have a dare. I have a dare for people, Kate. I dare you. I dare you to look at your calendar. I dare you to look at your calendar from last year, or at least the last 3 months, and figure out what you're not going to bring with you into the next year. Figure out what you're going to leave behind, what you're going to let go of, so that somebody else can do it, and so that you can create room in your life to do something remarkable. there's part 2 to this dare.
What's that?
2 is write it down. Turn it from a wish to a goal, and put it in a place, not just like a now page where you have to go look for it, but put your goals, put your roles, your goals, and your why in a place where they cannot, where you cannot escape them. Put them nice and big on the bathroom mirror, or put them in your office, or right by your door as you walk out or in to your house every day. And I can't begin to tell you what it's like to write down your goals and almost laugh or giggle when you write them down because they're ridiculous. And then less than a year later, one of those ridiculous goals is already accomplished. You're going to be surprised at what happens. So that's the dare. That's the dare. That's the call to launch. And if you do it, tweet us at
when you do it, not if you do it.
Oh, you caught me. You caught me. I don't love the word if, but well, in that context, when you do it, tweet us at Get Trajected, or get a little friendlier on Facebook. Facebook.com/Get Trajected. Follow us on Facebook.
Or get even more friendly and do a video.
Do a video. That would be cool. We would love that. Put it on YouTube or put it in our Facebook group.
Yes.
Thanks for hanging with us.
Thanks, guys. Hey, thanks for listening. If we could, we'd reach over and give you a big hug. But since we can't, before you go, can we ask you a favor? In order for us to create shows you can't wait to listen to, we need your feedback. So please head over to iTunes and leave us a review. It'll only take a minute, but it will mean the world to us, especially if you decide to give us 5 stars. And if you really loved it, take a screenshot, share it on your favorite social media sites, and invite your friends to join the party. Until next time, get trajected. Gosh, every time, whenever I see someone like Jan or Flo or any of those like national commercials, I'm just like, that, I should do that. That is what my trajectory should have been. I could totally be a spokesperson for something like that.
Yeah. Well, guess what? You are younger than Jan. You are younger than Flo. Why do you say past tense?
I don't know. Well, it's the whole focus thing, right? It's the, what are you focusing on?
Has your time passed?
No.
Are you a has-been?
I'm a has-been. Oh my God, you're still recording. Well, don't use any of that.
You are ridiculous.